Hello and welcome to StudyIQ, my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are doing good. Today is 20th March 2020, and on our table we have a very important article that is written by President of our country. You can take it as an official statement coming from Government of India. This one is about coronavirus. The second one is need for reorientation. It's about higher education institution, particularly why our state institutions are not doing that great. What are the problems, solutions? We are going to talk about it. Drastic but necessary. This one is about an MLA of Manipur State Assembly, a role of a speaker in his defection case, and the Supreme Court's stand on this whole issue. Last one is going to be this one. Will Modi's COVID-19 fund initiative revive SARC? Big question mark. Before we move ahead, dear friends, I would like to inform all of you that our pen drive and tablet courses, which are our paid premium courses, are available for various different competitive exams, as you can see on your screen. To find out more about it, do check out StudyIQ.com. If you have any further queries regarding it, you can give us a call on the numbers that you can see on your screen. To download the PDF of today's lecture, check out my Telegram channel. Please make sure that you share this lecture with other students. Hit the like button if you have learned something from today's discussion. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Friends, let's talk about this outstanding article written by President of India, Shri Ramnath Kovindji. He's talking about COVID-19. He's talking about this coronavirus. And this is a big outbreak, of course, right? And we are in a very, you can say, challenging situation. The whole world is facing a very critical, a very dangerous situation. Humankind is no stranger to calamitous outbreaks of diseases, and I'm sure we have heard about this sort of things, not particularly coronavirus, but like say for example plague in Surat or some other diseases in different parts of the world from our parents or grandparents, or we might have gone through some books in which we find this sort of things. So we are not a stranger to this sort of disease outbreaks, but the scale, right? This is the first viral outbreak of this nature and scale in our lifetime, and this is coming from President Ramnath Kovindji. So can you imagine, he's an elder person, isn't it? So if he is telling that this is this viral outbreak, the nature and scale is something that we have, means something that is very big, very huge. This itself indicates that we have to take it very seriously. Still, we find there are so many people out there, they are sneezing and they are coughing and they are still not using those hygiene etiquettes. And this is something very sad, right? President has said that I believe that together we will weather the storm. And this is the most important word that we have to understand. Together is that individuals, right? Every one of us will have to play our part so that we can make our neighbors, ourselves, our parents, our loved ones safer. And we all know that hygiene is the first and obvious lesson. Precaution is the only cure for this new strain of coronavirus. Social distancing, I'm not sure how many of you are aware about this thing, but Janta curfew was declared by Prime Minister Modi. He was live yesterday, and this Sunday India is going to observe a Janta curfew. So social distancing is something that we have to do, right? We have to, you can say, impose quarantine on ourselves. And sanitation and cleanliness are among the humblest of the civic virtues, and it is easy to underestimate their significance. People are still taking it a bit lightly, but we should not, right? This is a sort of wake-up call. Ramnath Kovindji is also talking about, is giving us example of Mahatma Gandhiji, that in South Africa and in India, his historic campaigns always began with or ran parallel to question of sanitation and hygiene. Back in 1896, Gandhiji was visiting India and a plague broke out in Bombay. He offered his services to the state, and the offer was accepted. As he was in Rajkot, he volunteered there, and is asking, do you know that what he did as a volunteer, what Mahatma Gandhiji did? He was inspecting latrines, right? Now imagine 1896, right? More than 100 years ago, Gandhiji was doing this job in the sense he was volunteering, he was contributing in hygiene and sanitation. And at that point of time, means people used to be, caste system was so rigid at that point of time. Like I'm not sure, means people would have definitely talked about Gandhiji from his behind his back, that he's doing this sort of things and etc. But this is our history. When I say our history, I mean to say that we can learn from our father of the nation. And here Kovindji is talking about very important topic. He is talking about this respect for nature is a big lesson that we can learn from coronavirus. See, Homo sapiens, right, as a species, we think that we are the king of the world. We have overpowered other animals and we have destroyed so many flora and fauna species. I would like you guys to think a bit out of box. Just imagine if you are a tree or something, or if you are an animal, how would you see human beings? You would see human beings as a big threat for the ecosystem, right? For all these animals, for all this flora and fauna, human being is their biggest coronavirus, right? The biggest threat is human beings. So this is not how it should be. We can think, we are so-called rational animals, right? We can think, we have logic, and we have all these things. So we should be, we should behave in a very responsible way. It is our responsibility to look after our nature. But what we have done as a human beings, as humankind, we have destroyed this world. And this is a wake-up call for us that we should not take things lightly. At the end of the day, we are also just a biological organism. And we have to understand this thing, that just a small, tiny an organism that we even cannot see with our naked eyes can create this sort of damage to us. So if we are living in this dream world that we are the king of the world, then that's not right. We have all these aspirations to develop our nation and to get rich and to do this and that and all these things, but they are of no use if we don't look after our environment. So respect for nature is a big lesson that we should learn. And Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, we normally say that the whole world is a family. This is not about just diplomacy. It's not about connecting two countries. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is not just limited to human beings. It is more than that. It includes everything in it, right? It includes living as well as non-living things in it as well. That's what I think, that it includes everything. And so we have to be, a bit more I would say sensitive when it comes to extracting resources and doing the things that we have done so far. And we are as safe as we take care of the safety of others, not only of human beings but also of plants and animals. This is a closing line of this article. So there are so many things that we need to we can understand from this article, and there are so many things that we should think about as well. Equality may be a factor, less apparent, but nature tells us that we all are equal. If you are a lion, or if you are a small organism, or if you are a human being, right, in front of nature, in front of Mother Nature, we all are equal. So we are not above. Yes, we have, as a human beings, we have all this house and shelter and technology and vehicles and other things, but we are not above anyone, and this is proven by coronavirus itself, isn't it? So very insightful article. Think about it. You can write essays on, if you find a topic like humanity and this sort of challenges, disease challenges, coronavirus challenges and things, then solutions, you can talk about all these things that we have. So make sure you go through this article as well. I have explained some extra points as well to you guys. Now let's move on to next one, need for reorientation. This one is about universities, particularly higher education institutions. Out of 1,000 higher education institutions that are authorized to award degrees in India, about 400 are state public universities that produce 90% of our graduates, including those from the colleges affiliated to them, and contribute to about one-third of the research publications from our country. But the question is, what about the quality? What about their performance? Quality and performance is poor in most cases, right? And we can judge this thing from the points that you can see on your screen. Poor performance in institutional rankings, poor employment status of their students. There are so many students, they have completed their degrees, they have achieved, or they have got these degrees, right? But they cannot find jobs. They cannot make a CV. They cannot write a sort of letter right? Cover letter. They don't have that confidence, or they don't have that knowledge, and all these things indicates that quality and performance is quite poor. Rather, poor quality of their publications. Publications in the sense, this whole universities and colleges, they are publishing this research papers and other things. Their quality is also that poor. Negligible presence in national level as well as national level policy or decision making bodies. Poor track record in receiving national awards and recognition. Poor share in research funding, and so on. So particularly our state public universities, right, and colleges affiliated with this state universities, they are not doing that great, and there are various reasons behind it. Again, they are on your screen: government or political interference, lack of autonomy, poor governance structures, corruption, poor quality of teachers, outdated curricula, plagiarism. Plagiarism means you copy paste the things, like someone has prepared a dissertation. Now next year the students will somehow get soft copy or hard copy of that dissertation, and they will copy paste it. They will make some changes here and there, and that dissertation will get a clearance as well. So this is plagiarism. Poor infrastructure and facilities, overcrowding, evils of the affiliation system, and poor linkages with alumni and industry. So these are possible reasons because of this poor quality of our state institutions. Now, generally speaking, it is believed and it is oftenly said that because they are run by government, that is the main reason why the quality is not that good. Now, I'm not saying this is a completely wrong statement, but it's not always right. For example, IITs, right? IITs are government institutions, but they are performing very well. And the same thing has been said by, or generally we hear people saying that like BSNL, the reason why BSNL was down, and still today as well it's not doing that great, is because this is a government's company. But we have good examples like ISRO as well, right? ISRO is outstanding institution. So why this sort of things, why we have this sort of examples, right? The reason is that most of our central government higher education institutions, they have better culture, better structure. They get proper support as well. The people working there, their recruitment process, the whole culture that we find in central universities is different from state universities. State universities, we have all these problems. I'm not saying you don't find this sort of problems in central government universities or higher education institutions, but they are very limited. So what we need to do is we need to change the way things are going on in our state higher education institutions. And this is something that they have to change from within, because it's not just about funding, it's not just about teachers, it's about the culture, it's about more inner things, structure and culture of this institution. So the change should come from within, and in order to receive much more funding and support from state system, state universities would have to commit to delivering lots more to the state and its people when they are where they are located. So let's say a state university in Maharashtra, it has to do more for the state. When I say state, I'm not talking about government, I'm talking about the people. Like how this universities can contribute in industry, in local industry, in economy, in society. They make future leaders, right? Providing that support. And so this is something that is very important. In foreign universities, what we find is they have, in foreign higher education institutions, or their culture is, you have this golden triangle. You have universities on one side, you have government on the other side, you have this industry. So when it comes to, let's say, making your curriculum, so university will get in touch with industry together. A university will gather this, what's going on in real world, what's going on in practical world. It will take all these lessons from industry, and then it will take all those items on board when it comes to designing your curriculum. So this is how they are doing things. Like in Germany, this is one example of Germany. Like in Germany, this is how curriculum is. That's how they make their syllabus and things. When it comes to funding, autonomy, government will provide funding, government will provide autonomy as well. Over here, the problem is They will give you money, but with money, as money comes instructions, right? The money will be accompanied by instructions, what to do and what not to do. But in foreign country, government will provide funding, but universities are protected, right? You can, if it doesn't matter if you are getting money from government of let's say UK, then UK universities or their chancellors, if they write an article that is not in favor of the ruling party, then it's not like he will be transferred or things, So autonomy and transparency and this sort of things are theirs, and we need to have same things here. But for that, state universities, they have to walk extra mile, and in other words, establish a contract between state universities and state system. Contract is not a formal contract I'm talking about. It's a sort of social contract, you can say. Unwritten things, there are. You have to create this culture where state system will support you, or it has to support you because you are performing very well, right? So let's move on to next item. Again, a very interesting, very important topic, drastic but necessary. On your screen, you can see this picture. This person, he is MLA. His name is T. Shyam Kumar, and he was elected as a Congress candidate, but he defected Congress and he joined BJP to become a cabinet minister in Biren Singh's cabinet. Now, the Supreme Court's order stripping a Manipur minister of his office and barring him from entering the state assembly. Supreme Court has, took this matter in its hand. Now, the thing is, this whole case is about defection. A few days ago, we were talking about this defection and the role of a speaker, and how speakers are appointed in Lok Sabha as well as state legislative assembly. If you are not sure, then let me throw some quick light on this thing that, once your party wins, when you have maximum MLAs, so ruling party will select one of their MLA as Speaker of the House, or when it comes to Lok Sabha, one of your MP will be selected, or basically elected, not selected, but elected as a Speaker of Lok Sabha. Now, speakers, right, they have powers. They have powers under this 10th schedule of Constitution. So these are some basic things. Now, in a landmark judgment in January, which put an end to this deliberate inaction of presiding officers on petitions for disqualifying defectors, a bench headed by Justice Rohington F. Nariman had ruled that courts have the power to fix a time frame for speakers to dispose of petitions under the anti-defection law. This case here, right, this case is dragging from 2017. And on January, Supreme Court took a very important stand. And this is based on this 2007's verdict of this Rajendra Singh Rana case, that Supreme Court said that if there is a failure to exercise jurisdiction, if, let's say, if a speaker is supposed to deliver or supposed to take a stand on this defection, and if speaker is not taking a stand, then courts can intervene, right? And this is a very important judgment, or this judgment was about that in any case, right, as pointed out in the January verdict, a 2007 precedent is available to show that a failure to exercise jurisdiction is a stage at which the court can intervene. And as I told you, this one is going on till from last 3 years now, since 2017. In the Manipur case, the court had given a reasonable period of 4 weeks, and what happened that on 4th March, this speaker said that he needs 10 extra days, and this were given, and on 18th March he again sought time, and this time Supreme Court was not happy at all, and Supreme Court has finally barred this person from entering the state assembly. He has been stripped as a Manipur minister, and the next hearing is going to be on 30th March. So till 30th March he is no more a minister, and he cannot enter the state assembly. Now, we talked about this article 142 early on. Remember, if you are new, then let me throw some more light on this thing, that any matter that comes in front of a court, let's say Supreme Court, right? If something comes in front of Supreme Court, then Supreme Court can take that particular thing to its logical conclusion. This is clearly stated in Article 142 of our Constitution. And in this whole case, the speaker took extra time, and this is it's like a tactic. You are delaying things, you are deliberately delaying things, and you are trying to buy more and more time. So this whole judgment is also an indication that we need to fix this whole system of speaker being an adjudicating authority under the 10th schedule of our Constitution. We have to find a way. If possible, then we should find a way through which we can appoint our speakers if there is a new way. Because what happens is that at the end of the day, one of your politician, one of your MP or MLA is going to be the speaker of your house, and naturally if that person has worked for your party throughout the life, then his behavior is not going to be that neutral. I'm not saying that everyone is biased, right? Please don't take it that way. What I'm saying is we have seen cases in the past, and the one that is in front of you as well, that many times we find that the speakers, they have not done their job properly, and this creates issues for our democracy. Moving on to next item, will Modi's COVID-19 fund initiative revive SARC? Now, last Sunday, Prime Minister Modi came out with this proposal, right? He declared an amount as well. Can you give me the exact figure of this amount? How much India has contributed for this fund, this COVID emergency fund for SARC? How much India has contributed? Stick your answer in the comment section now. If you talk about SARC, right, South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation, there are 8 countries. Quickly, let's go through them. Afghanistan, you have Pakistan, India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives. These are your 8 countries of SARC, and we have talked about these countries earlier on as well. Now, I'm not going into the details of all our discussions, but very briefly, the last SARC summit was held in Kathmandu back in 2014, and the 19th SARC summit was cancelled because of this Uri attack. It was going to take place in 2016 in Islamabad, but it was cancelled because of this Uri attack on our country. So since then, India has tilted itself towards BIMSTEC. BIMSTEC is on your screen, right? The full form is Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, BIMSTEC. You have 7 countries here. 5 countries are part of SARC. 2 countries are part of ASEAN. So number 1 is India. Then you have Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. These are your SARC nations. And then you have number 6, that is Myanmar, and number 7 is Thailand. These 2 countries are part of ASEAN. So BIMSTEC is also said, it is said that BIMSTEC is like a bridge that will connect SARC and ASEAN together. But after this Uri attack, India has focused more on this BIMSTEC, and this SARC is nearly dead, right? It's in a state of coma since 2016. But this initiative is like a bolt from the blue. All of a sudden, Prime Minister Modi came out with this SARC fund, a COVID-19 emergency fund for SARC nations, and countries have taken it very positively. And there are chances, like if countries integrate with each other, if they cooperate with each other, then yes, there are chances that we can reactivate SARC, because there are so many things that are in favor of SARC. For example, this whole region is culturally and historically integrated. If we go back in the past, then we find that these borders were open, and people have always traveled from one part of, like Afghanistan. People of Afghanistan, they have traveled to India, and people of Nepal have traveled to Sri Lanka and other places. People of Gujarat have had matrimonial relationship with the people of Sri Lanka. So culturally and historically, if we go back, then this area was integrated. But after this British rule, this whole visa passport thing came in, and then we have this now proper, in modern world, modern time, we have this proper borders. The main problem, as you know, between this, one of the main reasons why SARC is in coma is because of this India and Pakistan's security situation, and Pakistan's security relationship, or Pakistan's overall relationship with Afghanistan, is also not that great, because Afghanistan has also suffered from this Taliban and other things. So this is the right time that Imran Khan or Pakistan should take a stand, and they should control this terrorism and the army as well as the government of Pakistan, they should be on the same page when it comes to cooperation with India and reviving SARC. We cannot leave Pakistan alone, and the reason why we cannot leave is because Pakistan is sharing a very large border with Iran, and Iran is in a very bad shape as far as this coronavirus is concerned. So, God forbid, but if coronavirus enters Pakistan from Iran, then it can enter to Afghanistan. Afghanistan is also sharing its border with Iran, and it can enter our country as well. So it's a very dangerous thing, and it is important that we help Pakistan as a SARC. I'm not saying as India, right? As a group, as a SARC, we need to get along with each other, because Pakistan is not in a position to deal with this crisis. And this is not me saying it. It is Imran Khan who said this thing, that Pakistan is not prepared to deal with this sort of crisis. And the thing is, see, Pakistan is, of course, we know that China and Pakistan, they call each other all weather friends. But their friendship is not for eternity, because China and USA's relationship, both these big countries, they are trying to develop their relationships, and gradually their relationship is evolving. So if they get along with each other very well, which is a bit difficult, but if they do, then Pakistan, which is totally dependent on China, will not get that much from China, because USA will have direct good relationship with China. I hope you understand what I mean. And we cannot leave Pakistan alone for security concern. So as a SARC, right, we have to take that country on board as well. It may not look right, but if Pakistan wants to be on board, then Pakistan itself has to control this terrorism. This is the first requirement. If Pakistan wants help, as well as if Pakistan wants wants to develop relationship with India. We are living in a global world. Today is, as we know, that we are living in this age of globalization. So as far as our neighbors are concerned, right, our individual growth is not possible if our region is not growing. For India's development, it is important that this SARC as well as BIMSTEC region witnesses development and growth, and fostering economic integration and development, supporting social and educational development and integration are some of the important things that India can do as a big brother in this region, right? And we have good, connectivity with these countries like Myanmar, Bangladesh. We are developing it as well, and there are so many connectivity projects that are going on. We cannot do the same thing with Afghanistan and other countries, because in between we have Pakistan. But if things go well between India and Pakistan, let's say if a relationship revives, and if we start using each other's land for transportation, then this whole region will change forever. And this is possible, not now, right, not in foreseeable future, but in long term. This is going to be the future of our country, COVID or our region, I would say. COVID-19, PM calls for social distancing. This is the one that I was talking about, Janta Curfew, People's Curfew. It's going to be observed on 22nd March. And he talked about a few important points, like people should not indulge in panic buying, senior citizens should stay indoor, social distancing, avoiding elective surgery or routine health checkups. We should not overburden our health services, asking employers to pay employees in full when they have to stay home. And last one is stay away from rumors. Virus toll touches 5. Gujarat and Chhattisgarh reports their first cases, ban on all international flights from 22 to 29th. Delhi shuts eateries, cap gatherings at 20. Supreme Court orders floor test in Madhya Pradesh. It should be done today itself. Yogi Adityanath calls for social distancing. But yesterday we were talking about this Ayodhya Mela, mega fair. So I hope this will be cancelled too in future. COVID-19's scare, 4.2 lakh train tickets cancelled in Punjab. Ministry of External Affairs has said that to all Indians that they should stay where they are for time being, hang on. Do not try to, commute, stay away from. It is advisable that people should not move from one region to another. It is important that they stay where they are for time being. It's going to be a bit tough, but they should. That's the best thing they should do. National tag for Ayurveda Institute soon. Bill has been passed in Lok Sabha. And Jamnagar-based Institution of Teaching and Research in Ayurveda will get this status of institution of national importance. Defense Ministry places order of 16,479 light machine guns from Israel weapon industry. And big news for all of us is that this 4 convicts, they are no more, they are hanged, right? So justice is delivered, we can say, but it's not perfect. When I say it's not perfect, I mean to say that, first of all, time, right? It's been nearly 8 years now, so it's very painful for those parents, for relatives, for all those people who were near and dear, or they were near to this brave girl of our country, Nirbhaya. The other thing is, this whole case has, if we take it under our magnifying glass, then we find that there are many loopholes even today in our system. We need to fix those loopholes. And the most important thing is that this was not the last rape case or gang rape case in our country. And things are going on even today, this sort of rapes and this sort of crimes. So our fight is not over, right? We have to collaborate with each other. We have to create a culture. We have to train our boys and girls to respect each other, particularly boys, right? And we have to create this safety, because it's not about our girls only. It's about humanity, isn't it? It's about our society. So all stakeholders. Again, this solution is not. We cannot get this solution just by fast-track courts. Yes, fast-track courts are important. Yes, sensitive police is important. Yes, street lights are important. Yes, CCTV cameras are important, right? SOS or this emergency buttons on mobile phones are important. All these things are important. I'm not saying they are not, but every single person should create that consciousness within themselves. We have to do this brainstorming. We have to ask questions like why this sort of things are still going on, and together we have to find an answer for this issue of rapes that are going on in our country and in different parts of the world. So that's everything in today's discussion. Thank you very much for watching this video. Jai Hind.